body, speech, and mind held in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Ba nghiệp lắng thanh tịnh, gửi lòng theo tiếng chuông. Nguyện người nghe tỉnh thức, vượt thoát nẻo đau buồn. And 13th, we are having our mindfulness day, and this is our last activity. It's called a Dhamma discussion. Dhamma discussion is the chance for us to sit together and bring something that related to our daily life, so we can share and we can discuss together. And by this way, we can learn a lot from each other. So I would like to ask the Sangha, if you have something to share, please be ready for that. And before we start, we can sing a song together to refresh ourselves. Maybe happiness is here now. 1, 2, 3. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but no need to hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. No longer in a hurry. Happiness is here and now. I have dropped my worries. Somewhere to go, something to do, but no need to hurry. Thank you. Is there anything that the Sangha want to discuss? So please feel free to join your palms, bow, and then you share. I will pass the microphone around. If you do have something to speak, just turn it on and speak. If not, you can continue to pass on.
I wanted to thank you and the Sangha for a wonderful day today. It was very wonderful, and for all the years that I've been here. Thank you, Thay. Thank you for being my friend, and thank you for being my teacher. It's been a hard journey. I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning. And I wanted to say that I am glad I've chosen this path. And I'm glad that you are in my path, and this Sangha, and this community. And thank you.
I had the chance to share with the Sangha in September at the retreat that I've had some health issues over this past year, and I would like to report back that things are improving, and I'm back to work, and I'm leaving Friday nights open for coming here. Thank you.
I was wondering if the Sangha might share some views or your interpretation of the Avalokita statue, the three images. I find it very striking and very meaningful to me. But I'm still trying to comprehend find the meaning of the three faces of the statue. So, just put that out there. Thank you.
I would also like to thank the Sangha for. I just really enjoy today coming and meditating with a group of people, and really had a very beautiful feeling about being in this hall. And thank you, Thay, for your teaching, and particularly today, your talk on mindfulness really helped me to understand the things that we're doing. And I haven't seen a lot of these young people because I haven't been here for a while. And I really welcome you and to see you here, and it's really beautiful. And also the statue too. I also would like to learn more about it, and I'm sure it must have been mentioned and talked about a lot, but because I haven't been, so that's my own ignorance. And thank you again for sharing.
Dear Sangha, I have shared with you briefly the meaning of the statues today. About the first one is, do you see the willow branch? I explained. The other side, the first side here symbolized for loving kindness, compassionate. The other side holding the book, the scroll. So that is the on the top of it say Prajna Sutra. So symbolized for the insight, the wisdom. The third face over here, holding the Dharma wheel. The 8 points you see there symbolize for the 8th noble path. The 8th full path, and the J symbolize for the confirmation, the solid, the intent. So as I explained, these are the 3 practices we able to apply deeply into our daily life. We cannot do anything without love. We cannot do anything without understanding, and without the intent, the strongest in us, to overcome all the obstacles, the prevention, the difficulties. Everything we do always have difficulties. But the point is, do we have enough loving kindness and insight to reflect on what we are doing or not? Let's say you love someone. You want to get married with that person. But in your marriage life, that is not simple. The wedding ceremony can be done in one day. But to live with that day is for whole life. And you can see the difference. The ceremony is only one day. The marriage ceremony, one day. But to make that day happy and last long, you have to work with that for your whole life. And if you have no compassionate in order to accept your loved one, you have no insight to understand him or her, then you're unable to overcome your difficulties. So these are the reality. These are not the philosophy only, but it is something really happen. Let's say, as a young monastic, because we love ourselves, our family, and the community, all beings, we devote our life. So this is a kind of sacrifice. Loving kindness. But why you devote your life like that? Because you understand clearly this is the only way to help. When you live in a freedom life, the liberation life, you have no attachment to a small family, then you can do more things that you want. And remember, the path you choose also not smoothly, easy and beautiful as you image. So when you enter the community, you want to do volunteer, also not as simple as you think. Because, your co-worker, sometimes they have different idea than you do. And how can you deal? How can you face and how can you overcome all the difficulties? Your school, your friends, even the one who really close to you as husband and wife, you still need to apply these three aspects into your relationship. Your work, anything. And because we have enough loving kindness in us, and we have enough insight, we overcome everything. No expectation. Just try your best. And because you have tried your best, and that's why if any result, you're happy with that. When I was young, people told me to drink a lot of milk so I can grow stronger and taller. And I did try my best. But too bad, I'm only that height. And if you suffer, you will complain, I drink a lot, I do a lot of exercise, but how come I still too short? Then you suffer all day long, all life long. The wisdom, the loving kindness will help you to embrace everything in that way. That's why if you look at the ancient temples, we always have 3 doors. The middle one and the 2 sides. The merits, or another word, the loving kindness, the wisdom, the combination. If you go only 1 door, then you are missing. But if you go through the middle door, middle path, you can bring compassion and insight together along with your life. And once you are very flexible in the practice of adapting all these things, everywhere you sit, you walk, you stand, you are standing and walking and sitting on a lotus. Because lotus is a flower symbolizing for in the mud, but you grow up. In the difficulties, you grow up. Without the mud, we have no lotus. Without difficulties, we have no successful. If we never got sick, we never know and learn how to appreciate our health. So once we over a time of sickness, and now we can see the health is really important to us. A day of living is very important to us. Is that a little bit more clearly what we have discussed? I would like to invite Grace to read this question. And because I think this question also we need to discuss. And this is something happen to our daily life sometimes. It's nice to share together. And because the question is just a question, we don't know who asked the question. So, but to me, I feel this is the really reality to discuss.
Dear Thay, in my relationship with my partner, I am noticing a very strong fear or protection response in me that causes me to retreat and want to destroy or cut the relationship. I want to behave with greater compassion, but I can't tell if it is my spirit calling me to end the relationship or if I need to work to overcome this block. How can I tell the right way to go? Is it a block in my mind or a sign to move on? Thank you.
Sometimes in the relationship we confuse. What is this kind of relationship? So I want to the Sangha to, not for us, this is for you. We don't deal with this kind of relationship. It's nice to hear. Yeah. So just pass and then you share.
I've had some interesting relationships in the past year with like work-related relationships. And for personal relationships, I think maybe I'll start there, is I think there comes a point where it gets tough and we don't want to realize that that was ever going to happen, and therefore it must be over because we don't want to put ourselves out there into, going past that or moving past that. On the other hand, and that's where Avalokiteshvara comes in very strongly, is to have that insight and look at it as, okay, in this relationship, this personal relationship, is anyone being hurt? Physically, emotionally, or spiritually? If it's just an anger attachment related thing, that's one thing. But if it's, bodily, like if there's a real problem in a relationship, then I think that you should separate from that. That's just my small knowledge of relationships. But I do know that we have to strive and go past our immediate knee-jerk response to say, I don't want to put anything else into this. It's not working the way I thought it was going to. You know that attitude, if you know.
If you bring to a relationship your baggage, then the relationship will not last. If it's something that is a pattern, that's something you or feel you've done before, if there's a pattern there, then it's nothing wrong with the relationship, it's you. You have to look at yourself. You have to understand yourself. Why is this happening? Is this happening again? Is this happening over and over again? Or is this something new? We're all scared when our feelings are involved. But when you're with the right person, I think that a lot of those ideas, feelings, and mental formations tend to be, how should I say, not easier to understand, but easier to integrate. I'm not an expert in relationships, first of all, but the insight that I've learned is that if you truly understand yourself, you bring to a relationship a strong foundation, and the strong foundation is what makes relationships successful or unsuccessful. So, is this a knee-jerk reaction that this person is saying that they want to get out because that's the easiest thing to do? Or is it the hard thing to do, is to stay and work really hard at it? Because I don't think there is any easy or hard. It's just how you feel about that person, how strong that feeling is. And knowing from my own personal experience that that a lot of times it was never them, it was me. I was the one who was not understanding of myself, and therefore I ended up either ending the relationship or running away. And I think to truly be in a emotionally successful as it can be, I guess, is to truly understand yourself. So when you look at why you're doing that, you have to understand, is this that I am doing something that I've done before? And if so, why? Go there. Try to figure that out, because that's where your answer will be.
Hi, I think this is a very big question, and either way, it will affect a web of relationships, not only two persons. I sincerely hope that the person who asked the question is still in this circle. I have worked with colleagues very closely who has been badly affected by a breakup of their marriage. And they suffer emotionally, and they carry that residues and ripple effect into our work, and cause a lot of disease among us as well. I have also worked with colleagues who has affected badly because of the financial. So I think that this is something, not a decision to be made inside the individual's head and thinking. I would say, seek out, reach out, and go to the expert, and so that you have a dialogue to clear your thinking, and then to receive some non-biased feedback, so that you can make a good decision and move on. And moving on also means that oftentimes people say, I'm going to walk out here, and then they walk out, and along with it, a lot of the financial benefit. I think that is a very rash judgment. And again, as I say, it affects a web of relationships, and the harsh reality that if you walk out, you may lose all or half of the friendship that you had established as a couple. And Brother Marco has explained it very well about how, we each bring our browns into the relationship, and we're looking for a green pasture. So easily done. So I think there's a multitude, it's a very complex issue. If the person raises this question, I think it's warrant the person to go forward to seek for help. And we live in a city that has a lot of resources that we can tap into, and hopefully whichever way the resolution will be a happier one than what they are living right now.
I can hardly use a microphone, so I'm wondering why I'm talking even, but we've already heard some really wise things, but I can only add from my own experience, and a lot of what I've learned has been through Buddhism, and so because we're all connected, a lot of people can help us. But one thing I've learned personally was I can, with a little bit of mindfulness, I can recognize when I'm confused or conflicted, and when I feel that, then I just kind of wait until I'm not. You can never be totally certain, but you can possibly wait, or I will wait until I'm pretty sure now. I have a pretty good relationship with fear too, especially because of the job I have. And I'm now, interestingly, I've been able to recognize it now, and I say, oh, there's my old friend fear bothering me again, and I can then examine it and kind of decide what's behind the fear, and then it kind of goes away for a while anyhow. The other thing that my wife and I do, and we've had we've been married 33 years, so We've seen a few things. We've had our own troubles, but we also paddle a lot. We like to go kayaking and canoeing, and we compare it to canoeing. We don't stop paddling. We've made a commitment to continue paddling. So we don't jump out of the canoe. We keep on paddling until we can sort things out. Thank you.
In my profession, I do a lot of relationship counseling. So I really like the way that this question is phrased. I hear a lot of insight in it, in the question itself. And the insight is that this relationship has caused this person to become aware or mindful of fear. And so already this relationship has brought something, an opportunity for this person to look into that fear. And I would encourage this person to continue to look into that fear. And I think sometimes the question of whether the relationship should continue or not isn't the right question. That is looking too far into the future. Stay in the present moment and deal with what's in front of you and see where it takes you. Also, whether the relationship will continue or not is not up to only one person. There are two people in the relationship. And so you may have every intent to stay, but the other person doesn't, and you can't. You don't have any control over that. On the other hand, I agree with Sister Grace that if there is any significant pain that is being caused, step away so that the pain can stop. And also remember that you never really leave that person. They always stay with you.
It's really hard to comment because one doesn't really know all the details. The only thing I can say is I often believe when people are brought together, there's always a reason. That is a lesson to learn from each other, whatever that lesson may be, but there is a reason why you were first brought together to face each other. So it's for you to search for that. And in my own experience, in my own relationship, important to me is communication and honesty, and to be able to have time spent with one another and to talk, and not just to run away, but really talk and deal with the problems and issues. Because when two people are put together, there is a reason. So there are things to learn and not just to run away, because I don't mean you should stay forever together, but really there are lessons to learn and reason for you to be together.
I'd just like to share that you have to remember a relationship is also a partnership. So it's 50-50. And if one person is putting out much more than 50%, they definitely need to bring that up with the other person and make sure that it's equal in the relationship. One of the other things I'm thinking about is something that Thay mentioned earlier, and that's to take a step back, actually, and spend some time apart so you can reflect on the relationship on your own without the interruption of the other person, and maybe they can reflect as well. And then once cooler heads prevail, they can come together and then discuss the relationship.
As you can see that in our daily relationship, there is no technique formally that we like instruction. There is no instruction because the relationship has come from your heart, how you feel about that person. There is no type of thing that there is no ruler that you can measure
which one is the one you like and how to find. But when you see someone, you have the feelings, that's yours. Like some people ask Thầy, can you find me the statue of the Buddha? Which one is the most beautiful so I can bring home and pay respect and, set an altar? I said, I cannot choose. Why don't you go downstairs, you walk around and you see which statue you like, that's yours. It's like the house. When you buy the house, when you come in, you feel comfortable with the house. But some of the house you come in, you don't feel comfortable. So if you come in the house and you feel that house is, you feel comfortable with it, you like it, and when you stay in, you will have a nice feeling with the house. So the relationship have no ruler, have no instruction. As long as you listen to your heart. And sometimes you don't have to set too much way for your relationship. But just facing the reality and the present moment in order to solve it. Sometimes on the way together, you will find a lot of interesting points that you can learn from each other. That you can ask yourself: is this the point for me to deal with, to take and learning from that. And while the relationship, we also can respect that person as a teacher too, because the partner is also the teacher. The student also can be the teacher, because sometimes the student teaches us something very beautifully. The teacher unable to do it. So, not only the relationship between the two partners, but the relationship can be any kind of relation. And we have to have the respect in any kind of relationship. No respecting, nothing can happen longer. So even that person, we and that person in the argument time. So we try not to use the words that hurting each other. And when you confuse, you can find you have to deal with your confusing, because you are the one who understands that kind of feeling most than anyone else. Let's say if you try to come to talk with Thầy or some counseling, but what are we? We are the third person. If we listen to you only, we don't listen to the other side, our answer will never 100% correct. And sometimes based on what we hear from you, combined with our experience from many other cases, we put everything together and give you some instruction. But still, that's only instruction. You are the one who knows yourself the most. And you are the one who knows that your partner the most, in order to find out. And sometimes we play our role. Just sit there and listen and try to bring experiences from many other cases and try to share. And this is one of the truths we cannot refuse, right? Every day we have relationship. Different kind of relationship. So I think this is a good question. So we can, and with this 40 minutes, We try to discuss, still not enough. We can sit and talk and, and maybe you keep in your mind this question. And sometimes in your daily life, it click right on, you have more answer for this question. You have more experience, you have more discussion for this question. So the lecture we learn from school can be finished. But the lecture we learn in life never end. Every day we have something new to learn. And also the relationship. And because we are unable to describe them all, so we stop here. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your attendance. I hope you do enjoy the day. And please continue your practice. And we are always supporting each other on this path. May the Buddha bless us all. Thank you. Body, speech, and mind held in perfect oneness. I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Ba